back, not into the details, but above them, because of all of this. All the definitions, the principles, the practices, the steps, they were never meant to live alone. This is one story, one system, one way of thinking about how work becomes value. It starts simple, someone needs something, a problem, a request, an opportunity to do better. That's demand, that's the spark, and from that spark, everything begins to move. Not in silos, not in isolation, but together. Guiding principles shape how we think, not rigid rules, but a mindset. Focus on value, keep it simple, work together, improve constantly. Every decision filtered through better thinking. The 4 dimensions hold everything up. People, technology, partners, flow. Miss one, and the system weakens. Ignore one, and value breaks. The service value system. This is the big picture, the engine, the place where demand becomes value, where governance directs, where practices enable, where improvement never stops inside that system. Work begins to move through the service value chain. Plan, engage, design, build, deliver, improve, not in a straight line, but in motion. Flexible, adaptive, always finding the fastest path to what matters in the work itself. That's the practices. Fixing incidents, managing change, supporting users. The real world actions that keep everything running. And through all of it, there's one thing that never stops. Improvement, learning, adjusting, getting better. Not once, but always. Now hear this clearly. Value is not delivered. It is co-created. Between provider and consumer. Between expectation and outcome. Between what's needed and what's possible. So when you feel overwhelmed, don't memorize the pieces. Remember the story, demand comes in. Thinking guides decisions, workflows, practices execute. Governance directs, improvement refines. Value is created together. Because ITIL is not about processes. It's about understanding how everything works together to make something worth it. They told me ITIL was just a framework. But I heard a language, a rhythm, a system of trust whispered between wires and people. Let me break it down. Not like a manual, but like a moment. Service. A service is not a thing, it's a promise, it's you. Standing on the shoulders of something you don't have to build. It's cloud storage saying, bring me your memories, I'll hold them. You don't have to buy the sky. It's streaming saying, you don't need the cables, just press play. Services, outcomes without ownership, victory without carrying the weight of the war. Now listen, utility is the question. Does it work? Not the poetry, not the branding, not the sales pitch. Does it move you from point A to point B? A car don't need to inspire you, it needs to move you. Antivirus don't need applause, it needs to protect you. Utility is what it does, and if it don't do it, it ain't nothing. Warranty. But oh, doing it once? That ain't enough. Warranty steps in like, can you trust me again and again and again? It's uptime, it's speed, it's security when nobody's watching. It's your internet saying, I didn't just show up, I stayed. Warranty is how well it holds you, how steady the ground is when you walk across it. And together, utility, warranty, not one, not the other. Cause what good is a car that moves but breaks every mile? And what good is reliability if it does nothing? Value is when it works and you can trust it. Now step into the boardroom. The customer is the one who chooses, the one who says, this is what we need. Signs the deal, owns the outcome. They don't just want the service, they define it. They carry the responsibility of the decision. User. But down the hall, in the glow of a screen, is the user. The one who logs in, clicks, depends. They don't choose the system, they live in it. Customer chooses, user uses. 2 roles, 1 experience. Now here's where the magic breathes. Service management ain't a department, It's a symphony. People, processes, tools, culture, all moving like gears in a watch. So time never breaks. It's it showing up before the problem shows up. It's incidents handled, changes controlled, systems humming like a heartbeat you never hear because it never skips. Service management is how we deliver value over and over and over again. And somewhere above the noise is the sponsor, the one who says yes, the one who funds the future, the CFO, the VP, the one who signs the check, and in that moment turns an idea into reality. So when you hear idle, don't hear jargon. Hear a story about trust, about value, about people, trying to make complexity feel simple.
What it costs to create value. They told me, learn the definitions. But I said, nah. I need to understand what this feels like when it hits a real life. Let's start with cost. Cost is not just money. It's time, it's effort. It's the quiet exhaustion of maintaining something you never wanted to own in the first place. It's building your own email system, servers humming, cooling systems breathing, people staying late just to keep things alive. Then along comes a service, and suddenly, you don't carry that anymore. But don't get it twisted. Every service removes a cost and replaces it with another. Subscription instead of infrastructure. Cost is what you give up to move forward. Now, let's talk about value, because value ain't about cheap, it's about worth it. It's that moment when you ask, is this helping me win? Because a cheap solution that fails you is expensive in ways money can't measure. And a costly solution that saves your business, that's priceless. Value is not the price tag, it's the outcome. You can't afford to lose, now step back, look around. That system you're standing in, that's an organization. Not just a company, not just a logo, but people with purpose, moving towards something they decided matters. A bank, an IT team, a service provider, different sizes, same truth. People plus purpose equals organization. Now let me ask you something. What's the point of anything we build? That answer is the outcome. Outcome is the so what? It's not the system, it's not the feature, it's not the dashboard glowing at midnight. It's what changes, because that thing exists. More sales, faster service, less stress. Outcome is the reason any of this matters. But don't confuse it, because the thing you build, that's the output. The report, the app, the platform, that's what you produce. But the outcome, that's what it does to the world. Output is the thing, outcome is the change. Now lean in, because this next one lives in every decision you've ever been afraid to make. Risk. Risk is that voice that whispers, what if this goes wrong? But sometimes it also asks, what if this goes right? Because risk isn't just danger, it's uncertainty, threat or opportunity. Move to the cloud, you might fail, or you might scale faster than you ever imagined. Risk is the question mark at the end of every bold move. Now bring it back to the core utility. Does it do what you need? Simple, direct, no excuses. If it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. And warranty, does it keep working? When pressure hits, when traffic spikes, when nobody's watching.
Warranty is reliability when it counts, and together, utility plus warranty. That's value, not theory, not concept, reality. Because something useful but unreliable will break your trust, and something reliable but useless will waste your time. So remember this: cost is what you give, value is what you gain, organization is who moves, output is what you build, outcome is what changes, risk is what might happen, utility is what it does, warranty is how well it holds. And all of it is about one thing: making sure the people on the other side don't have to carry what they were never meant to hold. The relationship. They told me, learn the framework. I said, this ain't a framework. This is a relationship. Let's start with the service offering. This is the deal. The moment someone says, here's what I'm bringing to the table. Not just the product, not just access, not just support. All of it, bundled, packaged, presented like a menu. Pick what fits your hunger. A phone plan for the everyday user. A business plan for the ones who can't afford to drop a call. Same kitchen, different plates. Service offering is what you see, not everything behind it. Now step behind the curtain, because that's where service provision lives. This is the grind, the late nights, the monitoring dashboards, the silent fixes before anyone notices something broke. This is the provider saying, I got you. Running service, granting access, answering tickets, keeping promises written in S-slash. Provision is the work. If it's happening on the provider side, that's provision. Now flip the perspective, because on the other side is service consumption. This is the user logging in on a Monday morning, uploading files, clicking submit, opening tickets, actually using the thing that was built for them. Consumption is not passive, it's participation, because value doesn't exist until someone uses the service and gets something from it. Consumption is the experience. Now listen, this ain't one-sided. This ain't I deliver, you receive. Nah, this right here is a service relationship. And relationships, they take work. Service relationship management is the conversation, the check-ins, the feedback. But this isn't working and we can do better. It's the meeting after the meeting where both sides say, how do we make this stronger? Provider adjusts, consumer responds, together they evolve. Because value ain't delivered. Value is co-created every time. So let me break it down. Service offering, what's on the menu? Service provision, what the kitchen is doing. Service consumption, what the customer is eating. Service relationship management, the conversation that keeps them coming back. Because the truth is, the best services don't just work. They connect, they adapt, they respond, they grow with you. And if you get the relationship right, everything else falls into place. Principles don't tell you what to do. They told me. Follow the framework. I said, frameworks don't think, people do. So let me tell you about the guiding principles. These ain't rules, they don't say do step 1, then step 2. Nah, they say think better. They are mindset, they are instinct sharpened into discipline. They are the quiet voice that asks, are you doing this the right way? Or just the familiar way? They told me there are 7, but they don't live on a list. They live in decisions, focus on value. Not the tool, not the process, not the shiny dashboard. Value. Ask yourself, who does this help and how? Because if it don't serve the user, it don't serve the purpose. Start where you are. Stop trying to burn everything down just to build something new. Look around, there is already something working. There is already data, there is already truth. Respect it, build from it, progress iteratively with feedback. Don't try to be perfect, try to be better, then better again, then better again. Small steps, real feedback, because perfection delayed is value denied. Collaborate and promote visibility. No more silos, no more, they don't understand us. Put it on the table, let people see it, let people shape it, because the best solutions are never built alone. Think and work holistically, everything is connected. You change one thing, you change everything. So stop solving problems in isolation. See the system, respect the system, keep it simple and practical. Not everything needs a 40-step process. Not everything needs complexity to feel important. Simple work, simple scale, simple survives. Optimize and automate. But listen, don't automate chaos. Fix it first, then let the machines carry the weight. Let it. Now here's the truth. You don't use these one at a time. This ain't a checklist. This is a conversation between principles. You improve a process. You focus on value. You start where you are. You simplify. You test. You listen. You adjust. All at once. Because principles don't work alone. They move like a team. You build a portal. You don't just design it. You ask, what do users actually need? You start small. You improve fast. You involve people. And suddenly, it works. Not because you followed steps, but because you followed thinking. Because at the end of the day, ITIL ain't telling you what to do. It's teaching you how to decide. So remember this. Principles are not commands. They are compasses. They don't choose the path, but they make sure you don't get lost. Seven ways to think right. They told me there are 7 principles. I said, nah. There are 7 ways to stop doing things wrong. Focus on value. Everything starts here. Not the tool, not the ticket, not the process you spent 6 months building. Value. Who does this help? How does it help them? Because if it don't serve the customer, you just built something for yourself. Start where you are. Stop trying to erase the past just to feel like you're progressing. Look around. There's data, there's systems, there's pieces that already work. Use them, refine them, respect what exists before you try to replace it. Progress iteratively with feedback. Don't build the whole thing and pray it works. Build a piece, test it, listen, adjust, then do it again. Small steps, fast learning. That's how you move forward without breaking everything behind you. Collaborate and promote visibility. No more hidden work, no more silos, where teams operate like strangers in the same building. Bring people in, show the work, share the truth. Because confusion lives in darkness, clarity lives in visibility. Think and work holistically. You touch one thing, you touch everything. This ain't isolated, this is a system. People, processes, technology, partners, all connected. So stop fixing parts like they exist alone. They don't. Keep it simple and practical. Let me say this louder. Complexity is not intelligence. If it don't add value, cut it. 5 approvals, maybe you need 1. 20 failed, maybe you need 5. Simple works, simple survives. Optimize and automate and listen close. This is where people mess up. They rush to automate without fixing the mess first. But automation doesn't fix broken, it just makes broken faster. So clean it up, streamline it, then let the machine carry it. Now here's the truth. You don't use one of these. You use all of them. At the same time, you build a new system. You ask why. Value. You check what exists. Start where you are. You break it down. Iterate. You involve people.
Collaborate.
You see the full impact.
Holistic.
You simplify.
Keep it simple.
You improve and scale.
Optimize and automate.
7 principles. 1 mindset. Think better. Build smarter. Deliver what actually matters. Because the difference between good IT and great IT ain't the tools. It's how you think before you use them. Four legs at the table. They told me, focus on the service. I said, you can't understand the service if you don't understand what's holding it up. Because every service stands on 4 things. Not 3, not 2, 4. And if one breaks, everything falls. Organizations and people, let's start here. Because before the tools, before the systems, before the dashboards glowing at midnight, there are people. People with roles they may not understand, skills they may not have, communication that may never reach the right ears. You can build the perfect system, but if the people don't know how to use it, you didn't build anything at all. Because services, they are delivered by people. Tools just help, information and technology. Now we step into the machine, the systems, the data, the infrastructure. This is the backbone. But listen, technology without information is noise, and information without accuracy is danger. You got dashboards, but the data's wrong. You got tools, but nobody trusts them. Now your service, it slows, it breaks, it repeats the same mistakes. Because without the right information, you don't have control, partners and suppliers. Now look outside your walls, because you are not alone. Cloud providers, vendors, third parties you depend on, whether you admit it or not. And here's the truth. Your service is only as strong as the weakest partner in your chain. The outage becomes your outage. Their delay becomes your failure. So don't just use them, manage them. Because dependency without accountability is risk waiting to happen. Value streams and processes. Now follow the flow from demand to work to outcome. This is the path value takes, and if that path is broken, nothing else matters. Too many steps, too many approvals, too many handoffs where responsibility gets lost between teams. Now the service slows, now the user waits, now the value never arrives. Because value doesn't just exist, it flows. Now here's the truth. You don't fix one of these and call it done. You look at all of them together. You build a new service. You train the people. You validate the data and tools. You align your partners. You streamline the flow. Miss one, and everything you built starts to crack. This is not optional. This is structure. Like a table with 4 legs. Take one away and watch everything collapse. Because great service is not built on one strong idea. It's built on 4 strong foundations, working as one. From demand to value. Yeah. You said, learn the system. I said, this ain't just a system. This is how ideas become reality. Because everything starts with a signal, a need, a request, a problem somebody can't ignore. They call it demand, or maybe it's an opportunity, a chance to do better, to build something new. That's where it begins. And from that moment, everything starts moving. Something bigger than a process, through something alive. The service value system. This is the machine, not of gears and wires, but of people, decisions, and flow. The thing that takes what's needed and turns it into what matters. Because listen, value is not delivered, value is created together. Now step inside the system. Let me show you what makes it move. Guiding principles. This is how you think before you act, before you build, before you automate. You ask,
Are we focused on value? Are we using what we already have? Are we making this better or just bigger?
principles don't tell you what to do. They make sure you don't do it wrong. Governance. This is direction. This is accountability. This is someone saying, this is the standard. This is the goal. This is what success looks like. Policies, oversight, decisions that shape everything below. Governance is who's responsible when it matters. Service value chain. Now we move. This is the flow. Plan, engage, design, build, deliver, improve. Not in a straight line, but in motion. Flexible, connected, always adapting. This is how work travels from idea to outcome. Practices. This is how we do the work. The skills, the processes, the tools. Incident management when things break. Change enablement when things evolve. Service desk when people need help. Practices are the hands that turn intention into action. Continual improvement in this. This is how we get better. Because nothing stays perfect. You learn, you adjust, you evolve. After every failure, you ask why. After every success, you ask how to make it stronger. Improvement is not a phase. It's a mindset that never ends. Now see it together. Guiding principles guide. Governance directs. Value chain flows. Practices execute. Improvement evolves. And through all of it, demand becomes value. Not by accident, not by chance, but by a system that works. Because everything in it works together. This is not just ITIL. This is how organizations think when they stop reacting and start creating. This ain't a straight line. Look. If you think value moves in a straight line, you've already slowed it down. The service value chain isn't a checklist. It's not step 1, step 2, step 3. This is motion, this is flow, this is work moving through an organization like current through a circuit. Finding the fastest path to something that matters. 6 activities, but don't treat them like rules. Treat them like directions you can move in. Plan. Where are we going? Why does this matter? Because movement without purpose is just noise. Engage. Now we listen. Users speak, customers speak, stakeholders speak. In this time, we don't just collect requirements. We understand need design and transition. Now we shape it. Ideas stop being ideas. They become something real, something that can survive outside a meeting room. Obtain or build, we gather what's missing. We create what doesn't exist. We build the foundation that makes the service possible. Deliver and support, now it lives. Now people depend on it, and when something breaks, we don't point fingers. We restore trust, improve, because nothing stays perfect. We learn, we refine, we evolve again and again and again and again and again and again and again. But here's the part people get wrong. This isn't a straight road. This is a roundabout. You don't always start with plan. You don't always use all 6. You don't move in order just because a diagram says you should. Sometimes a user reports an issue. You engage, you deliver, you improve. Done. Sometimes you're building something new. You plan, you design, you build, you deliver, you improve. Full journey. Sometimes it's simple. Engage, deliver. That's enough. Because value doesn't care about your process. It cares about outcome, speed, relevance. And that path, that flexible living path, is a value stream, not a rigid process. A route that adapts to whatever the moment demands. So don't force motion into structure that can't keep up. Don't turn flexibility into bureaucracy. Organizations that win aren't the ones that follow the path perfectly. They're the ones that know how to change it without losing direction. Know what each one does. If you don't know the purpose, you'll confuse the action. And if you confuse the action, you'll pick the wrong move every single time. This right here is where people stumble. Not because it's complicated, but because they don't ask, what is this really doing? Let's make it clear. Plan. This is direction, this is alignment. This is everybody in the room looking at the same horizon and agreeing. That's where we're going. Vision, strategy, roadmaps. Without this, you're moving, but you're not going anywhere. Improve. This is evolution, not later. Always. You don't wait for failure to get better. You look at the data, you listen to feedback. You learn from what just happened and you adjust. Everywhere, not just one process, not just one team, everything engaged. This is connection. This is where you stop assuming and start listening. Users speak, customers respond, stakeholders react. And your job? Understand them, communicate, build trust. Because if you don't understand demand, you can't deliver value, design, and transition. This is precision. You don't just build something, you build it right. You test it, you validate it, you prepare it for the real world. Because once it goes live, it's no longer theory, it's expectation. Obtain or build, this is creation or acquisition. Whatever it takes to get the parts you need. You write the code, you buy the hardware, you bring in the supplier, you make sure everything required exists, deliver and support. This is reality, day to day, where the service lives and breathes and gets tested by real people. Incidents, requests, support. This is where trust is either built or broken. Now tie it together. Plan, decide where you're going. Improve, make everything better. Engage, understand and communicate. Design and transition, build it right before release. Obtain or build, get what you need. Deliver and support, run the service. Because on the exam, they won't ask you to recite this. They'll give you a situation, and you'll have to recognize what's really happening. Roadmap, that's plan. Feedback loop, that's improve. Customer conversation, that's engage. Testing before go live. Design transition, building or buying components. Obtain or build. Supporting users, deliver and support. Because once you understand the purpose, you stop memorizing and start seeing. No way. If you don't know the purpose, you'll confuse the action. And if you confuse the action, you'll pick the wrong move every single time. This right here is where people stumble, not because it's complicated, but because they don't ask, what is this really doing? Let's make it clear. Plan. This is direction, this is alignment. This is everybody in the room looking at the same horizon and agreeing. That's where we're going. Vision, strategy, roadmaps. Without this, you're moving, but you're not going anywhere. Improve. This is evolution, not later. Always. You don't wait for failure to get better. You look at the data, you listen to feedback. You learn from what just happened and you adjust everywhere. Not just one process, not just one team, everything engaged. This is connection. This is where you stop assuming and start listening. Users speak, customers respond, stakeholders react. And your job, understand them, communicate, build trust. Because if you don't understand demand, you can't deliver value, design and transition. This is precision. You don't just build something, you build it right. You test it, you validate it, you prepare it for the real world. Because once it goes live, it's no longer theory, it's expectation. Obtain or build, this is creation or acquisition. Whatever it takes to get the parts you need. You write the code, you buy the hardware, you bring in the supplier. You make sure everything required exists, deliver and support. This is reality, day to day, where the service lives and breathes and gets tested by real people, incidents, requests, support. This is where trust is either built or broken. Now tie it together. Plan, decide where you're going. Improve, make everything better. Engage, understand and communicate. Design and transition, build it right before release. Obtain and build, get what you need. Deliver and support. Run the service. Because on the exam, they won't ask you to recite this. They'll give you a situation, and you'll have to recognize what's really happening. Roadmap, that's plan. Feedback loop, that's improve. Customer conversation, that's engage. Testing before go live. Design and transition, building or buying components. Obtain or build, supporting users. Deliver and support. Because once you understand the purpose, you stop memorizing and start seeing. Hmm. 15 ways we make it work. This is where it gets real, not theory, not models. This is the work, the hands, the habits, the things you do every day that either hold the service together or let it fall apart. There are 15 of them, not random. Each one solving a different problem, each one answering a different question. Continual improvement. Are we getting better or just staying busy? Because standing still in a changing world is falling behind. Information security management. Who can see it? Who can change it? Can we trust it? Because if your data isn't safe, nothing else matters. Relationship management. Do they trust us? Not the system, us. Because services don't exist without relationships that hold them together. Supplier management. Are the people we depend on actually dependable? Because your service is only as strong as the vendors behind it. Change, enablement. Can we change without breaking everything? Because progress shouldn't come with chaos. Incident management. Something broke. How fast can we fix it? Because downtime is not just technical, it's business impact, problem management. Why did it break? And how do we make sure it doesn't happen again? Because fixing it once is not enough. Service request management. Can we handle the everyday ask without slowing everything down? Password resets, access requests, the small things that matter every day. Service desk. Where do people go when they need help? One door, one place where confusion meets clarity. Service level management. What did we promise and did we deliver it? Because expectations without accountability are just words. Service configuration management. Do we even know what we have? What's connected? What depends on what? Because you can't fix what you don't understand. It asset management. What do we own? Where is it? What's its value? Because wasted assets are wasted money. Monitoring and event management. Can we see what's happening before it becomes a problem? Because reacting late is already losing. Release management. Is it ready? Tested, coordinated, prepared. Because releasing too soon is just deploying risk. Deployment management. Now, put it live. Move it into the real world where it either works or proves it never did. Now step back. These aren't isolated. They work together. Something breaks. Monitoring sees it. Incident fixes it. Problem prevents it. A change is coming. Change enablement approves it. Release prepares it. Deployment delivers it. A customer speaks. Service desk listens. Relationship management responds. Service level management measures. 15 practices. 15 answers to 15 different problems. Because great service isn't one big thing done right. over again.
Call it what it is.
If you don't know the words, you'll miss the meaning. And if you miss the meaning, you'll answer the question wrong. Even when you know the work, this right here is language. Not complicated, just precise. It asset. If it has value, real measurable value, and it helps deliver a service, it matters. Laptop servers, licenses, money is attached to it, so you track it like it matters. Configuration item, now go deeper. Not just what's valuable, but what's critical. Anything that affects the service, you track it. Applications, databases, documentation, because if it impacts delivery, it's a CI event. Something changed, that's it. CPU spikes, server goes down, login succeeds, an event is a signal. Not always a problem, just something that happened. Alert, now that signal gets loud.
Hey, look at this.
Threshold crossed, something unusual. Every alert is an event, but not every event demands your attention. Incident, now it's real. Something broke, service is down, performance is degraded. This is impact, this is urgency. Fix it fast, problem, but don't stop at fixing. Ask why, because the problem is the cause. The reason the incident keeps coming back. Incidents are symptoms, problems are the disease. Known error, now we understand it. We've seen it, we've documented it. We know the workaround, it's not solved, but it's no longer a mystery. Change, anything you do that affects the service is a change. Add, remove, modify. Every move you make shifts the environment. Standard change, but some changes are routine, safe, pre-approved, repeatable. No drama, just execution. Service request, now the user speaks.
I need something.
Access information, a new device, not broken, just requested. Now listen close, because this part shows up on the exam every time. SLA, this is the promise to the customer. What you deliver, how well you deliver it. Uptime, response time, this is the agreement they hold you to. OLA, now go inside. This is how teams support that promise. Network team, app team, internal agreements that make the slab possible. Underpinning contract, now go outside. Vendor, suppliers, what they promise you, so you can keep your promise to the customer. Customer, internal team, supplier. You see 3 layers, 1 commitment. Event, something happened. Alert, pay attention. Incident, something broke. Problem, here's why. Known error, we understand it. Because once you learn to call it what it is, you stop guessing and start knowing. Don't stop here. Improvement is not an event, it's not a meeting, not a project, not something you celebrate once and forget. Improvement is a habit, a rhythm, a decision you make every time something works and every time it doesn't. Because the goal is not to fix things once. The goal is to stay aligned with what matters now. That's what continual improvement is. Learning, adjusting, evolving over and over again. But listen, this ain't guesswork. There's a path, 7 steps, not rigid but real. Step 1, what is the vision? Why are we even doing this? What are we trying to become? Because without a reason, improvement is just movement with no direction. Step 2, where are we now? Look at the truth, not what you think, not what you hope, what the data says. Because you can't improve what you don't understand. Step 3, where do we want to be? Define it clearly. What does better actually look like? Faster, stronger, more reliable? If you can't see the target, you'll never hit it. Step 4, how do we get there? Now we plan, not everything, just what matters most. What moves the needle, what gets us closer. Step 5, take action. Now we stop talking and start doing. Because ideas don't change anything until they become action. Step 6, Did we get there? Now we measure. Did it work? Did it actually improve anything? Or did it just feel like progress? Step 7. How do we keep the momentum going? This is the step people forget. You don't stop, you build it and you carry it forward. You make improvement part of how you operate, not something you visit when things go wrong. Vision, now, want, how, action, check, momentum. 7 steps. 1 mindset, never settle. Because the organizations that survive change are the ones that practice it every day. Don't improve once, improve until improvement becomes who you are. Dun, 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 dun.